The Class 180 is a train. Drivers who've already been trained have found them to be efficient and failures, sometimes due to a total lack of familiarity, other times to unexpected issues. In this short briefgramme, we'll look at some of the faults. As you all know, as the train is dead, to enter this cab, you slide the door back with your T. Once in the cab, get into the habit of making a clock. Press the aux set button. Now move across to the driving position on the left side. Check that the combine controller is in the full service position and that the adjacent emergency brake button is in the position. Check that all MCBs on the back wall panel are set. Now put your key in and select the switch. Press the button for 5 seconds. Now forget that you must start engines. Sometimes the catering crew will use an emergency to gain access to the train. If necessary, you can now go to the cab at the other end. While you're walking to the other end, you might hear the engines running. Once in the front, start by checking in the back. Now put your key in and move the switch to neutral at the same time as pressing the P on button. You may need to shut in the 3901 cupboard. Don't use the little button, it can cause problems. Operate the engine eye switch here instead. If an engine shuts down due to a coupe fault, this will light. You can try setting by pressing the set button. Then the engine will just idle. Again, forget to press the all engine start when you get back to the driving cab. If you can't see the 3901 cupboard, go to the car and check pressure control MCB in the cupboard and the main pressure supply MCB in the 4th cupboard. That's the one by the door. If this is K, check the residual MCB. That's the toilet heat. Go to. The toilets have a defect. It'll be necessary to locate the toilet and isolate the toilet supply by closing the cock in the cupboard behind the WC pedal. If a call for aid alarm won't set, go to the affected coach. Open the 3901 cupboard. This should fix the problem. This is an issue currently under investigation. If the train man reports complaints from passengers, the problem could be a jam. Place a hand over bodies and see if heat is coming from these. If there is, go to the centre of the coach and locate the small cupboard behind the seat backs. 6. Inside is a small cock, very hot. If you couple to another unit, the fault will be transferred to that unit. If it trips when you couple to another unit, you can be sure that the fault was on yours. Try and help the engineer. If you can report this accurately, it will be a great help to the staff. Here's a little misunderstanding that's caught drivers. When you press the locations panel, you expect the button to light. It doesn't. Fault. There has been some confusion over faults on the TMS after initial boot. Return to the fault list and see which faults are still on the system. If steam is seen coming from under one of the coaches, it's important to stay calm and to overreact. Steam. Don't evacuate the passengers. You should check whether it's steam or steam. Steam. It may simply be an engine fault that has caused the automatic fire to be activated. If it is, it's steam you can see as the washing up liquid balls away on the hot engine. If an engine is shut, it's quite normal. The faults and issues we've looked at in this programme are mainly problems that have cropped up unexpectedly. Many faults can be resolved by simply switching off your computer. Or on power up, a 2-minute break, so be patient. Finally, if you experience a fault, enter as much detail as you can in the repair book. For example, if the public drops out. What we've covered is exhaustive, and of course all known failure stations are covered in the Class 180 driver manual or published traction bullets. If you have any comments on the content of this programme, have a with your standards manager.